Hi, my name is Zaria, and I want to share my testimony on how I went from New Age practices to Jesus. I grew up in Florida with my mom. I did grow up in church. My mom took me to church often, and she always did teach me how to pray. She always taught me how to pray, and I needed to pray. But I was always that kid that I never really liked going to church. I thought it was boring. I didn't want to be there. I never really paid too much attention to God, about God. But I knew he was there, but, I didn't know he was really there. Like, I didn't really, realize that God is really listening and watching me and seeing everything that I do. Later on, going on into middle school, I started to get more into horoscopes. I learned more about my horoscope. I would always ask my friends about, when their birthday was, or, always telling them the similar traits that, these charts would say about them. And it got to a point where I wouldn't be someone's friend or talk to someone if they were a certain horoscope. It's funny, actually. But I was really into that. And fast forwarding on really the end of middle school, going on to freshman year, I felt like I wanted to soul search. I wanted to find my higher self. I was a heavy smoker. I was smoking weed. I felt like if I'm in this state of mind, that I was going to reach my higher self. I was going to be more spiritual. I started learning more about my chakras. I started meditating. I had dream catchers and I had crystals. And I felt like, I felt really smart. I felt like I was just had a lot of knowledge because I was doing these things. And my mom, a Christian, she's a Christian. She was not too fond of it. She mentioned to me multiple times that this stuff is not of God and it is satanic and it's of the devil. But I never really, paid any mind to that. I was just like, no, how could it be? Like, how could meditating and finding my higher self and soul searching and being positive and, how could that be of the devil? I've never really thought about it. So I was doing that for a while. I even thought about doing tarot cards. I tried to open my third eye. And it was crazy how I tried to do it. I tried to do it by watching YouTube videos, which is crazy till this day as I think about it, because in the tutorial it was saying that when I would open my third eye that I would get like a really, really bad headache. And I ended up not going through with it because I chickened out. But it's just a lot going into that. Listening to that type of meditation music, and it's like a lot of spirits attached to that, which I did not know at the time. And I was really into that for a while, soul searching and smoking, and I even did psychedelics. I did shrooms, and I thought that was really going to help me reach my higher self. I thought I was going to even be able to speak to God. Even though I never really paid too much attention about God, I thought that I was going to be able to speak to God if I did psychedelics. But, knowing that, not realizing that it is far from God. So as time went on, the friends that I did have, we started to disagree on a lot of things. And I just felt like a tug on me, like a tug on my heart and soul that I needed to separate from them. And I didn't realize, why I felt like that. But I just felt like I needed to separate from them. When I separated from my friends, it was tough because I was by myself. I was alone. I didn't have nobody else to talk to, no one to text, nobody. I was just always in my room by myself. And the meditating and everything that I thought, was going to help me, was not helping me. It wasn't doing nothing for me. It didn't give me any happiness. It just left me feeling blank. I had no friends to talk to, and on top of that, this meditating and, smoking and trying to reach my higher self, it wasn't doing anything for me anymore. Like, it just wasn't working. So as my last resort, I just said one day I just prayed. I just prayed to God and I prayed to Jesus. And when I did do that, it did feel like it was a big weight lifted off of me at that moment. I felt kind of relieved. And I was shocked that I felt this way because I've never really, like, put my heart into a prayer and really, said, like, sincere prayer. And it made me feel good. So I continued to pray and I continued to read my Bible. And then I even did my first fast for the first time. And I was doing well. Then fast forwarding towards my birthday, I was doing well with praying and everything, and I was feeling pretty much at peace for majority of the time. And my birthday was coming up, and that week was kind of sad. That was the only maybe week I was a little sad because I knew that I came to Christ and I came back to praying and came back to God, but I knew that I was going to be alone for my birthday, which did make me kind of sad. And but I did remember a couple weeks before my birthday, I remember talking to God, and I did ask him. I was like, I know I'm probably going to be by myself for my birthday because I don't talk to my friends that I used to talk to. So I asked God if he could come to me, like, on my birthday. Me just saying it, like, like not really thinking, that could happen. But I asked him to come to me on my birthday, like, like come to me in my room or something, or in a dream, something supernatural. And I remember I said that a couple times. So on my birthday, it was towards the end of the day. This is my 21st birthday. Towards the end of the day, I was feeling kind of down, because I didn't really do anything for my birthday. And I went in my room and I turned off my light. And I went and sat on my bed and I closed my eyes and I put my hands over my face. And instantly when I did that, it was like this bright light that was like inside my eyes. And it's not like a light like if you close your eyes and you shine a flashlight over your light, you see like, you can feel like the light. The light was like literally like inside my eyes, like it was a flashlight into my eyes. But it wasn't even the light that looked like a flashlight. It was a light that I've never like really seen before. And it was super bright, like super bright. And it's like, I'm in the dark and my eyes are closed and I have my hands over my eyes. So I'm like, how am I looking at this light? So the light looked like it was like a circle figure, like shape in the middle, and then it was like a light around it. I know it's kind of hard to picture, but that's what it looked like inside of my eyes. And as I'm looking at it, like I'm like squinting, like my eyes try to like look deep inside this light while my eyes are closed, and I'm looking at it, and it probably lasts like around like 5 seconds. As I'm looking at it, it like slowly dims down, like just gets like smaller. Maybe a little more than 5 seconds though. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds. I really don't remember. It was quick, but it was like I was like so in the moment. It felt like I was there, like inside that light. I know it's super hard to explain or like picture, but it just slowly dimmed down. And after it was done, I kept like closing my eyes and putting my hand back on my eyes and checking. I was like, like trying to get the light back. Like I was in shock, like literally in shock, because then it dawned to me, like thought came to my head, like I asked God to come to me on my birthday, and I was like, did that really just happen? Like did he really just do that on my birthday and came to me as a light? But I told my mom and she was like, yeah, that is God, because God comes to people as a light. And I thought about that for the rest of the day because like that's something pretty surreal happening. I never thought it actually would have happened. Okay, so fast forward, as time went on, I started to experience spiritual warfare. When that encounter happened with God, I got even closer with God. I started to pray more and more because I wanted more stuff to happen. So I got closer to God and reading the Bible more. And then I started to experience spiritual warfare. I started to get nightmares. Whenever sometimes I was still listening to like secular music. I was listening to gospel, but I was still listening to like some pop songs, some hip hop songs sometimes. And I would notice that like it would just bring me negative vibes, bad vibes. And I didn't realize it was the music. I didn't realize that it was the music. Well, really, I should say bad spirits. I didn't realize that the music was making me feel like that. Like, you know, now that I know that it's like, it can be bad spirits holding on or in these musics, in these songs, in these R&B and these hip hop songs, and I didn't know that. But as I, you know, slowly like, I cut out secular music altogether and I started listening to only gospel. That's when the spiritual warfare got even worse. There was a point where I was having only nightmares, and there was a point where one day I was in my room and I was going to sleep. Like I was halfway into sleep, and I felt like this slap on my face. And I know like it's hard to explain, or it's hard to really, I know it's probably hard to believe, but something slapped me on my face as I was going to sleep. And usually before I go to sleep, I like to pray, because usually it will protect me from anything bad or having nightmares, because at that point I was having nightmares. And I guess whatever was giving me nightmares decided to slap me in my face. And I didn't get upset, I just woke up and I prayed. But when it did it, I knew exactly what it was. Like I knew exactly that it was, you know, something bad. And I told my mom, and she was like, yeah, it is something bad. So after that, I was still, you know, going through some spiritual warfare with like nightmares. But after that, I was still doing well with reading my Bible and praying. I was doing well with being on track with God. And God gave me some visions. On my journey, I have been researching a lot of end-time videos, you know, like, you know, the prophecies that they say are supposed to be fulfilled soon in the Bible. And I was watching a lot of Heaven Dreams, and you know, I asked God, like, you know, is this stuff really about to happen? Like, are we really in the end times? It's like, you know, like, are we gonna, like, you know, leave the earth soon? All this stuff. So I asked God, you know, to give me confirmation, you know, to see what he says. Since, you know, he came to me last time, you know, I felt, you know, like maybe God will speak to me again. And he did. When I was laying down, I was not sleeping. I was laying down with my eyes closed, and I immediately, like, two images came to my brain, like to my like vision, like while my eyes were closed. And it was a painting of Jesus, and then next to like the mouth of the painting was now what I learned is a shofar. I called it a horn, a squiggly horn, because I didn't know what it was. But it was like a shofar next to his mouth, and it was like brown, and it looked really antique looking. And that it was Jesus in all white, and he was standing in the corner of my mom's room, and he was just glowing, just standing there. I couldn't see his face, or I couldn't see his skin color or anything. I just seen him in all white, and he had a white shawl over his head, and he was just glowing. And that image just popped into my head out of nowhere. I wasn't thinking about it, wasn't thinking about the painting, it just popped up. And I was just like, wow, you know, after it happened. But I didn't really think too much of it, because I didn't really know what open visions were at the time, open visions. So I just, you know, like went to sleep after that. And then in the morning, I just decided to tell my mom. And she was like, wow, you know, you had an open vision. And she made me do a video about it. But that was my next experience that I had. And I didn't even know that was really an experience, but that was my next experience. Vision from Jesus. And ever since then, I've just gotten more closer to God. I've started to read my Bible even more, pray more, and you would have told me that I would be this person last year, beginning of last year, 2020 or 2019, I would have never, ever believed you. But this is every proof that I can provide for you to know that God is definitely real. He's listening and he's watching everything you do. So you gotta be careful on what you say, how you treat people, and what you do. And definitely Jesus is listening also. And the best thing I could have done is accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And you should too, because you will feel it. You will feel the warm feeling that I felt, and you will be saved. And it will definitely save your spot in heaven. You cannot get to heaven without Jesus. Promise you. I didn't think that was a way. I thought all you had to be was a good person, but you need to accept Jesus. You have to. And yeah, that's my story. And I'm doing well, you know. Of course, there's some times where I get down or sometimes I get discouraged, but that's just a part of the whole journey, you know. Always pick yourself back up and pray. Always pray. When you feel sad, pray. When you feel happy, pray. You know? So, thank you for watching my video, and God bless.